everyone, and welcome to my Start to Stage video series where I share with you my journey where I'm going from the start to stage where I am competing in a bikini fitness competition on the Gold Coast and Brisbane in September and October this year. So we are heading into, I think I'm about week 5 into my program, and I think I've got about 11 weeks to go till I get to stage. And so the past week has been a good week for me. And in regard to my diet, what I've been eating, I'm currently on 2,151 calories. And for those of you that work with me as clients, you may go, you sort of tell us not to count calories. And I totally believe in that. But when you are getting into these fitness bikini competitions and your body fat is getting so low, you really do need to be counting calories so you understand how to be able to manipulate your eating plan as you get closer to being on stage to allow you to be able to drop that body fat. So what I mean by that is those 2,150 calories, they're actually broken up into our macros. And what our macros means is basically carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So I'm currently having, I wrote it down, 157 grams of protein a day, 79 grams of fat per day, and 203 grams of carbohydrate per day. And so that equates out to just over 2,100 calories. And as I get closer to getting on stage, we'll be able to manipulate those calories and manipulate those macros so that I am able to lose body fat. So we might take my carbohydrates down, which may give me less energy, but will help me to lose that body fat and help me to maintain my lean muscle mass. Because it is in all the way we eat. If we took out all my protein, getting closer to getting on stage, I could potentially lose my lean muscle mass, which isn't the aim. The aim is to keep that body composition where I've got as much lean muscle mass as possible. So I'm on a fairly good lot of calories, which means I'm feeling good. I've got lots of energy and I'm feeling great. I'm sleeping well and all is good in my world of eating. I did have a day off. We had fish and chips again. And yeah, it's all good. I feel like I'm quite good at delayed gratification muscle. And so I, in my head, know that I have one day off a week, and it allows me to be consistent those other days because I look forward to my day off. And that delayed gratification is a knowing within me that by not having what I feel like maybe in the moment will give me a big picture of a better outcome. And to tell you the truth, I just feel good in myself for delaying gratification, really pumping up that muscle. And it gives me that sense of control again. I must be a control freak, I think. Anyway, it works for me. And so I was able to do a tick and give myself a day off. I have, in regard to exercise, we had lockdown where I live this week. So we had lockdown, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or maybe till Friday. Maybe it was Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday last week. And so we were unable to go to the gym, and that meant that I had to exercise at home. Well, it was very rainy and wet. And on the very first day, I actually did no workout. That is unusual for me. And it sort of, what did it do for me? On one way, I sort of looked at it as a bit of a day of rest, but in another way, I felt guilty that I hadn't completed what I'd meant to do. So what I did is my exercise program is a 6-day program with 1 day off. And my day off, which was Sunday, I caught up. So I made my day off Wednesday rather than Sunday. So it really meant that I did get in all my workouts, and happy days. So that was good. My goals last week, if you remember correctly, one of them was to get out of my comfort zone in regard to my lifting of my weights. And I feel like I was able to do that. So when it comes to doing my leg workout, for instance, I'm doing an exercise called lunges, and I was doing 10 kilo plates on each end of the bar, and I'm now up to 17.5 kilos on each end of the bar. So I've actually gone up 15 kilos in my weight over just the last 2 to 3 weeks. This has shown in my measurements and my weigh-in, which I'll share with you in a moment. And it's really been me getting hold of my mindset. I certainly am not a girl that loves to go out of her comfort zone. In fact, I really love staying in my comfort zone. And it has been a challenge for me. So, getting out of your comfort zone is doing hard things, even when you don't feel like it. But once again, having that self-discipline to be able to do hard things really allows you to have more self-control in the big picture. So when you've been weight training as long as I've been weight training, and I have been weight training since my 20s, I really do need to be lifting weights at a level that is going to split muscle fiber for me. So if I'm not lifting heavy enough, like let's say I'm not lifting what I would call 80% of my maximum, well, I'm really not going to show the results because I'm really in like a maintenance phase rather than a growth phase. So it's important that I really push beyond my comfort zone to allow me to get better results in regard to my body composition and my lean muscle mass. So I'm a bit proud of myself because I've been very mindful in my workouts not to allow myself to stay comfortable, but rather push the boundaries. It's been interesting. It's made me feel quite wobbly by the end of the workouts, actually, that I've been pushing, that those muscles are really going to what we would call failure, for full fatigue, and feeling a little bit lactic and wobbly. And I've been feeling rather hungry, which is a good sign as well. Because I'm just burning so much energy doing these workouts. So I feel like that's been a good thing. I am meant to be practicing my posing for stage, and I'll be honest, I haven't done that once. So it's definitely got to be on my goals for next week. Why don't I practice my posing? I guess it's not really something I love to do, to tell you the truth. So it's something that's once again out of my comfort zone, and I must create a habit to do that because I don't just remember to do that. So that is on my to-do list for next week, to put that into my schedule as important to practice. And I do have an appointment with her next weekend. I've ordered my new shoes. I was telling you I was a bit wobbly in my last shoes that I used last time. And so I've needed shoes with straps around the ankle to give me a little bit more support. And I've been able to order those, had to get them from America. So they're on their way. And I decided I was getting a new bikini because I wanted to get some photos of this journey at age 54 and didn't want to be in the same bikini. I wanted a different color. So I've been able to get in contact with the lady that does those, and I'm in the midst of picking colors. And so I have an appointment to see her later in July for measurements. And so that's all going along smoothly as well. So the only other thing I guess I wanted to share with you is we have a puppy. You may have met my puppy Pluto, and what Pluto's done for me is really allowed me to take a moment to stop and be in the moment. And as I've been sharing with my ageless girls, smell the roses, because he's 11 weeks old. He's a little Kelpie and he demands my time, and I want to give him my time. And being with him has allowed me to just breathe, not think about anything much, and just enjoy the moment. So I've really, really, really enjoyed that. He's been very well behaved. He's slept through the night. He hasn't woken up. Toilet training still a work in progress, but that's okay. He's a baby. And yeah, so all is going well in regard to Puppyville. What else did I want to share with you was, what did my measurements show this week? Before I share that with you girls, I will just say that some of you said I'm interested to know what your meals look like. So what I thought I would do is maybe do like one meal and put it on YouTube to show you, because it's going to be too difficult for me to do a whole day of meals and then try and create a YouTube video of it, basically because I'm not great on YouTube. So I'm going to do one meal, like my breakfast, and then I'll do my mid-morning and my lunch, my afternoon, and I'll upload them as different meals so that you can see how a day put together would look for me in regard to eating. And the only other thing I would share is my progress. So I got up this morning in the freezing cold. The worst thing about it is I get up at 3 a.m. in the morning and it is cold. And so you have to do these weigh-ins naked. And so it's not my favorite morning. I'm like, oh. But anyway, I'm being tough these days, girls, getting out of my comfort zone. So the results showed. Last week, if you remember correctly, I'd lost 300 grams, but it actually showed that I'd increased my body fat and I decreased my lean muscle mass. So even though I'd lost on a scale, it was not a good result. In actual fact, it was a bad result because it showed that I'd put on fat, I'd lost lean muscle mass, not what I'm wanting to achieve. So this week, it showed that I put on that 300 grams again. So I've gone back to my weight of 2 weeks ago, but it has showed that I've actually increased my lean muscle mass to the most I've actually been for quite a while. So my lean muscle mass is back to 46.3%, and my body fat has come down. So last week my body fat was 15.2 and it's come down to 14.4. So that is not quite 1% of body fat, a little bit less, but very good. So I was really happy with that. And it showed that my visceral fat stayed the same, fat in and around my internal organs. So that's a positive result. Put on 300 grams, but assuming it is lean muscle mass. So when I did my measurements, my legs had gone up. And it's interesting because I just shared with you that when I did my lunges, I was doing 17.5 kilos each end. My leg press, my incline leg press, I was normally doing 80 kilos. I've taken that up to 100 kilos, which is really good. And what else have I improved on is I do another one like a squats. It's on I think it's called a hammer strength machine. And I do squats. And normally I was squatting 20 kilos each side, which is 40 kilos. And I've taken that up to 50 kilos. So I really have pushed out of my comfort zone. I really am, I think, benefiting, seeing the results, and happy days, as I say. The exercise program goes for 4 weeks at a time. So this is a new program that only started last week. And I must say, they're long. They do go for at least 60 minutes of pushing out of your comfort zone. And when you're lifting heavy weights, it's exhausting. So it has been good, but it has been interesting. And yeah, I am curious to see if I can keep pushing my self-discipline muscle, because I feel like that's the area, getting a hold of my thoughts and my mind to enable me to be able to get out of my comfort zone, because that's where I lack. I love being in my comfort zone. All right. Well, something I learned this week, girls, is I'm a slow learner. I like to finish with what did I learn this week? And, what I did learn this week is I'm starting to understand getting control of my mind. And what happened was I was laying in bed by myself. Rob's children live with us at the moment. And, most nights they're out watching shows that they like, which often involve guns, murder, drama, and it's just not me. So I tend to go into bed with my dandelion tea and I tend to watch more a girly flick on Netflix. And I was laying in there last week and I had a moment where I had a thought, I feel lonely. And it was interesting because normally I would have analyzed that. Normally I would have gone into, oh my God, I feel lonely, blah, 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 blah. And I was just, oh, so that's what lonely feels like. And I just allowed that to pass through me and basically just went to sleep. And I was so proud of myself because normally I would react, I would analyze, I would go deep into it. And I was able to just let it pass through and observe it and be quite chuffed with myself that now I know what lonely feels like. So that's my learning because I've been practicing this stuff for a good 8 years now. And I had an aha moment after 8 years. So girls, the challenge is don't give up. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. It might take 8 years, but hey, better than 9, not quite as good as 7. All right. Well, thanks for joining me on my start to stage journey. I really do appreciate you sharing this journey with me. It makes me feel like I'm not alone, lonely. And I look forward to sharing stuff with you next week. Take care. Bye for now.